Boxing title shot. Sorry guys, I just woke up. Bilal Muhammad is getting a title shot. Woo-hoo-hoo! What a banger of a fight. What a banger. The UFC finally announced UFC 304. We have the main event, Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad 2, which should probably be for the BMF belt. Yeah, I'm glad the two baddest motherfuckers in the game are going to go at it. Leon Scott Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. The co-main event is going to be Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. They also announced Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimble, Arnold Allen versus Giga Jacketti, and Mohamed Mokaev versus Manel Cap. So UFC 304 is looking absolutely stacked. Looks like a great card from top to bottom. This is probably going to be the main card. I am expecting some cool prelims, but man, is this main card absolutely stacked. And let's get started with the main event. I'm going to be honest, guys. I think this is a tough matchup for Bilal Muhammad. I'm rooting for Bilal. I think a lot of hardcore MMA fans are starting to get behind Bilal Muhammad. Is he the most exciting fighter? No. But neither is Leon Edwards. They probably both have the same amount of finishes and TKOs and decisions. So if you're a Leon fan, you really can't go out there and call Bilal Muhammad boring when Leon has probably the same amount of finishes. Now, I do favor Leon going into this fight. Look, I'm rooting for Bilal Muhammad. I want Bilal to win. I'm not super invested in this fight if I'm being honest, but I am rooting for Bilal Muhammad. And I do think there's a path for Bilal Muhammad to win this fight. He has to make the fight dirty. He needs to pressure Leon. He cannot let Leon pressure him like he did in that first fight. And if he doesn't respect anything that Leon throws and just, stays on the front foot, pressures Leon, overwhelms him, improves his boxing a little bit more, clinches against the fence. The clinch is going to be key here because Bilal had a lot of success in that first fight with the clinch. So I think that Bilal Muhammad is able to do that. I do think he could break Leon Edwards and I do think he could win the fight. However, right now, I just think there's too many things against Bilal Muhammad going into this fight. Look, Leon is in his prime. He's fighting in home territory. He's coming off wins over Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington, who have a similar fighting style to Bilal Muhammad. So I feel like because of that, I just have to go with Leon by decision. I don't think Bilal Muhammad is going to be able to outstrike Leon Edwards. I mean, unless Leon starts to gas out, which is why I think Bilal Muhammad is going to have to put a pace on Leon Edwards, because if he lets Leon pressure him, Leon is going to go at his own pace. And that's a great fight for Leon. Like, the cleaner the fight is for Leon, the better it is for him. So Bilal Muhammad needs to make sure to make this fight dirty and scrappy to really beat Leon and maybe start to gas him out. So there's definitely a path for Bilal Muhammad here. And I know maybe some people are going to compare him to Colby Covington, but let's be honest, like, Colby did not really show up against Leon Edwards. Like, that was not the same typical Colby Covington we're used to seeing. You know what I'm saying? He really respected Leon. He didn't want to take any risk against Leon. And Bilal, on the other hand, I do believe he will take more risk. Now, Leon lately, he's been fighting very complacent. Now, the first fight between them, Leon actually fought with some grit. He actually fought with some aggression. And I am expecting Leon to fight Bilal differently than he did Colby and Kamaru Usman. I think because there's so much tension between them and because there's so much beef, I do expect Leon to fight a little bit more aggressive. Maybe he won't. Maybe he wants to, just retain the title. He's going to pull an Israel Adesanya and just really play it safe. So because of that, I think Bilal Muhammad needs to be the one pressuring. I think Bilal needs to be the one dictating the pace of the fight, so then Leon could actually be uncomfortable. Because if you stay at range against Leon, he's going to throw body kicks. He's going to throw head kicks. He's going to be switching stances, landing 1-2, landing his left hand. And that's going to be bad news for Bilal Muhammad. And it's actually one of the bad things he did in that first fight, which is let Leon pressure him. I know that Bilal Muhammad has improved a lot since then, and he's definitely a more confident fighter going into this fight. But Bilal is turning 36. He hasn't fought in over a year. He's coming off that win over Gilbert Burns, which was impressive, but it was a Gilbert Burns that was overtrained. He wasn't really able to finish Gilbert Burns, which, I mean, it's not the craziest thing in the world because Bilal Muhammad isn't really a finisher. And he doesn't necessarily need to finish Leon Edwards to win this fight. So I definitely think there's a path for Bilal here. But just because of those things, look, Leon has been improving his grappling defense because he's been facing guys like Kamaru Usman. I think Kamaru Usman was a bigger threat on the feet than Bilal Muhammad because Kamaru Usman has a pretty solid jab. He has a pretty nasty right hand. He has more power on the feet than Bilal Muhammad. I think Colby was also a little bit more dangerous because of the pace, the pressure, because of his grappling ability. maybe Belal Muhammad is going to be a good balance between Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington, just enough to beat Leon Edwards. But I have to go with Leon because he's been coming back, being back-to-back training camps, dealing with wrestling, dealing with grappling, dealing with a similar style to Belal Muhammad, and he's in his prime. He's fighting in home territory, and if the fight is close, let's say Belal Muhammad has him against the fence, controlling Leon Edwards against the fence, landing punches, but Leon is landing the cleaner strikes, who do you think they're going to give the decision to? Like, they'll probably give the decision to Leon Edwards. However, I do think Belal Muhammad needs to be careful with the eye pokes, because every time he tried to close the distance on Leon Edwards in that first fight, we saw that Leon went for an eye poke, and Leon is a fucking cheater. So I definitely think there's a pad for Belal Muhammad to win this fight. I just think that Leon right now, he's in his prime. You know, the footwork is going to give Belal Muhammad problems. He's improved a lot in his striking. I know Belal Muhammad has also been improving, but he just hasn't been active. He's getting a lot older. I don't think he has the striking threat to really give Leon any problems. I think that if Belal wins, it's going to be because of his volume, his pressure, his cardio, maybe mixing up the grappling with the striking. But I mean, we said that about Kamaru Usman, we said that about Colby Covington, and Leon Edwards has just been showing improvements in his game. And even though I do think Leon is beatable, I just think that this is kind of like the perfect time for him to face Belal Muhammad, and it's a style that he's been seeing a lot recently. So this is a very good fight. I just think that there's too many things against Belal Muhammad going into this fight, so I have to go with Leon Edwards to win by a decision. So the UFC also announced Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I was kind of hoping that Alex Pereira will get the shot. I know some of you guys are gonna say, oh, Alex Pereira doesn't deserve it, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I do think it makes sense, right? Because if Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira, if Aspinall beats Pereira, then Aspinall becomes a bigger star, and that fight with John Jones becomes more likely. If Alex Pereira beats Tom Aspinall, then John Jones is going to fight Alex Pereira. So I feel like there was a lot of reasons why Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira made sense. Curtis Blaydes has won one in his last two. You know, he got knocked out by Sergey Pavlovich a year ago. So it's not like Curtis Blaydes is on a decent streak. I know why this fight is happening because, you know, the first fight was kind of a fluke. Tom Aspinall got injured. You know, they have to run it back. It's unfinished business. So I understand why this fight is happening. Like I said, it's unfinished business. And who do I think is going to win this fight? Well, Tom Aspinall's improving. He has a good chin. I have to go with Tom Aspinall, guys. I have to go with Tom Aspinall. Look, I think Curtis Blaydes could be a tricky matchup. Curtis Blaydes has good wrestling. He has good takedown defense. I don't see Tom Aspinall taking down Curtis Blaydes. But I do think Tom Aspinall is a faster guy on the feet. I think Curtis Blaydes has decent enough striking. I just don't think he has enough power to really beat Tom Aspinall. I don't think he's as elusive as Tom Aspinall. I think Curtis Blaydes kind of has that plotty, you know, movement of a heavyweight blob. And even though Curtis Blaydes is probably better than the typical heavyweight blob, I just think his footwork does not compare to Tom Aspinall. Look, I do think that he could maybe win this fight, pull a big upset, but right now I just have to go with Tom Aspinall. He's in his prime. He has all the confidence in the world. He has good striking. He has good power. He's going to have good takedown defense. He has a jiu-jitsu advantage as well. So right now I have to go with Tom Aspinall to win this fight. So yeah, ultimately I have to go with Tom Aspinall to win this fight. I just think this is a really bad matchup for Curtis Blaydes. He's fighting a guy that's very well-rounded, who's faster than him on the feet, who has more power than him on the feet. I just think it's a very, very bad matchup for Curtis Blaydes. And typically our biggest criticism of Curtis Blaydes is that he doesn't have good fight IQ. When he needs to grapple, he doesn't grapple. When he needs to strike, he doesn't strike. And like Sergey Pavlovich in that fight, he did not shoot for a takedown until he was hurt on the feet. And I just have to go with Tom Aspinall. I just think it's a really bad matchup for Curtis Blaydes. And right now, Tom Aspinall has all the confidence in the world. He's coming off that win over Sergey Pavlovich. He has a lot of momentum. He wants to fight John Jones. Curtis Blaydes has won one in his last two. So I'm going to go with Tom Aspinall to win this fight, probably by a TKO. The next fight that was announced was Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimble. And I like this matchup. I would have preferred Renato Moicano to get the fight against Paddy Pimble. I think the buildup would have been a little bit more fun. But I think rankings-wise, Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimble makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to be honest with you. I see a lot of people out here picking Bobby Green. And even though he does have the boxing advantage, he definitely has the striking advantage. And I could definitely see him piecing up Paddy Pimble. I think Paddy has a little bit more power. Even though he's not as technical as Bobby Green, I think Paddy has the power advantage. He's a big lightweight. And he has the grappling and jiu-jitsu advantage as well. I know Bobby Green has pretty good takedown defense. But I think Paddy Pimble is going to surprise a lot of people. I think Paddy's going to do better on the feet than people are expecting. So right now I have to go with Paddy Pimble to win this fight by a decision. I think he's improving. I think that a lot of people are underestimating him. And Bobby Green, yes, he's coming off that win over Jim Miller. But Jim Miller had a lot of success against Bobby Green. He was actually landing shots. And I think Paddy Pimble, he has pretty decent power. Does he have crazy power? No. But he has decent enough power, and I could definitely see him clipping Bobby Green. So because of that, I'm going to go with Paddy Pimble to win this fight. Those are my thoughts on the new fight announcements. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of these matchups. Are you excited for UFC 304? Are you favoring Belal Muhammad? So right now, I have to go with Leon Edwards to win that fight. I have to go with Tom Aspinall, and I have to go with Paddy Pimble.